Featuring One Flight Up, a lip sync competition, police versus fire department pie eating contest, and all things strawberry. But to also raise funds to build a Habitat home for a family in our community. Check out the website, habitatocala.org, and follow the link. The Habitat for Humanity Strawberry Festival is March 4th with breakfast served at 7:30. Free parking, free admission.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Last week, we had a young man on the radio show. He was a piano. What do you call somebody who's really good at a piano? He was an expert on piano. He was playing Carnegie Hall, put it that way. Anyway, so I was asking him, which music he was going to play, and he was telling us the name of a composer, and it was a lady composer, and she was the wife of a well-known composer, male composer, and he said she was overlooked. People didn't realize that Mrs. and forgive me for not remembering any of these names here, but she was actually, in his opinion, the better of the two composers. They're both deceased, so I don't think I'm offending anybody, hopefully. But I guess that's all subjective or objective. But anyway, I thought when we had this like mini conversation when we were talking to him. About the fact that ladies are sometimes just overlooked. We have a lady here who works at WOCA who's been working here for 40 years, and so many people in our own community who happen to be ladies often have contributed so much and don't get the recognition, and quite often in our society, the only times ladies get recognized is if they're in showbiz of some sort, and it just, gosh, about to change because we have people like Sam Maggs on the phone. Sam is an assistant writer for BioWare. She develops high-quality role-playing games. She is named the Awesome Geek Feminist of the Year by Women Write About Comics. I think Women Write About Comics. She appears on TV and on movie screen across Canada, is that right? And she's on the phone to talk to us about her book called Wonder Women, 25 Innovators, Inventors, and Trailblazers Who Changed History. Sam Maggs, nice to have you on the air. What an honor. Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Or do I say ma'am?
Hi, yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Good. Where are you in Canada right now?
I am, yeah.
Where are you in Canada?
I'm from Toronto.
In Toronto. Okay, one of the only cities I actually know is Toronto. I think I know Toronto and a little bit of Montreal and a little bit of Quebec. But well, thank you.
Fair enough.
Thank you. And Canadians are often overlooked too. So if you're Canadian and a woman, forget it. Nobody knows who you are.
A double whammy. That's it.
That is a double whammy. So tell me about the 25 ladies that you focus on in the book.
Well, I found that, I work in video games full time now, like you said, and it's one of those industries like tech, like engineering, where there's still a really big gender gap in terms of the people who work at these companies. I did my master's degree in Victorian fiction. I've always been interested in sort of these stories that lost to time. And so I started to think maybe the reason we're not seeing so many women getting involved in these fields is because there's a real lack of role models available to women. I mean, we always hear about Marie Curie or Ada Lovelace, but that's kind of it. But there were so many women from all across the globe, of all different ethnicities and sexualities, and just so many awesome women who were extremely accomplished in medicine and science and technology and espionage and adventuring that we never really hear about. So I wanted to sort of uncover their stories, make them more accessible, and hopefully provide some role models for girls getting into STEM fields now.
And you talk about the actresses of like the 40s and the 50s. I mean, some of them went on to be spies during World War II, and that was pretty amazing. And others have done super accomplishments in discovering things.
It's true. I mean, I think one that I touch on briefly in the book that a lot of people know about is Hedy Lamarr, who was an actress in the early 19th century or in the early 1900s rather, and then ended up inventing the system by which Wi-Fi was made afterwards, which is pretty cool. But there were tons of women who were incredibly successful in their own right in science, and there are a lot of great stories in this book that hopefully will be inspiring.
And did you find the women represented in the book, are they from all over the world, or are they from the Western Hemisphere? Where are they from?
It was actually really important to me to find women from all over the world, because I think when we do start to get into history, we often sort of fall onto the white Western side of things. Right. For this book, I have women from China, India, Peru, all over the world, as well as America, and I even got one Canadian in there. Thank you very much. But Mexico, Germany, anywhere, you name it, they're in here.
And one of the observations about your book is that these women are just not obsessed with their career choice. They have families, they have children, they have husbands, they have partners.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, it's easy to forget that when you read sort of like dusty old history textbooks, I think it's really easy to forget that these people were just people with regular lives with a ton of barriers to entry to these fields that they overcame. I mean, a lot of the women in this book were queer women, which you don't hear a lot about when you talk about the history of like women in medicine and stuff. Mm-hmm. Tons of these women had kids and were married and, like you say, lived lives. They were just people like we are, and often very young. You know, Alice Ball, who discovered the first viable cure for leprosy, was only 23 when she did that.
Wow.
Often we kind of forget that they were really just young women making these huge strides at a time where women weren't even allowed to go to school. So pretty impressive.
So I think the research that you've done, that you've put into the book Wonder Women, will probably be utilized by, let's say, school students, school-age students, I meant to say, who are probably girls, who want to do a report on one woman. They'll probably go to your book and then expand from there. Whatever they're learning from you, they'll probably look up more, just to discover some of these ladies whose names are not household names.
That was really my hope. I really wanted Wonder Women to be a jumping off point. It's obviously by no means comprehensive. I have a pretty extensive index and bibliography in the back of the book. So I'm really hoping that girls or anybody who reads this will be encouraged to explore more about these women, go read longer biographies on them, or even go online and find out information about their contemporaries, because obviously I had a very difficult time narrowing it down to just 25, so there's definitely more out there. I really wanted this to kind of like start the discourse on that.
And these women just weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. You talk about the Chinese inventor Huang Daopo. I mean, she had to be really brave and get out of an abusive relationship and a prearranged marriage, and then we learned that she invented the cotton gin 5 centuries before Eli Whitney. I mean, she had to fight for that.
That is absolutely right. There's another woman in the book, one of my favorites, Anandabai Joshi, who was born in India in 1865, and she was actually a child bride at a time when women couldn't go to school, and she ended up crossing an ocean and becoming the first Indian woman to earn a degree in Western medicine in America, because she became pen pals and best friends with a young widow in New Jersey. So sort of women helping women, and sponsored to get her over, and she ended up with her medical degree in America.
Did Eli Whitney know this lady? Did he steal her idea?
Yeah. That's another common theme in the book, unfortunately, is a lot of the time we don't know about these women because their accomplishments were stolen by their male colleagues, which is pretty unfortunate, but there's a lot that we can do now to kind of rectify those wrongs done by history.
Well,
so I'm honored to be a part of that.
When I steal a joke from Robin, everybody knows it right away. Because Robin will say a funny line, and then I'll just repeat it. And then I'll say, I must have said that. No, I'm teasing. I don't do that.
I thought I heard it somewhere.
So I have a question for you. When you're researching the ladies that you found in the book, is there one that comes to mind with this question? You did the research, and then after you're done with the research, you go to lunch with your friend or dinner with somebody later on, and you say, oh my gosh, I got to tell you about this lady I found. Is there somebody like that really kind of knocked you over when you discovered what she had accomplished?
Yeah, one of my very favorites in the book is Margaret Knight. She was a self-taught mechanical engineer at the beginning of the 1900s, and she patented the first machine that folds and glues flat-bottom paper bags. So, like paper bag you take out lunch in.
Wow.
She invented that. And by the time she died in 1914, she was hailed as the woman Edison. She was the most famous woman inventor of the 19th century, with nearly 100 inventions under her belt. But she had to sue for her own patent after her design was stolen by a man who had seen it and tried to claim it as his own. And his main defense was that a woman couldn't possibly have created something so ingenious.
Oh my gosh! Your book is
this is time.
This has to come out. You can't. we can't be living this way anymore. We have to recognize that people are talented. It's not, God didn't just give it to half of the race.
That's right.
Thank you for being on the air with us, and thank you for writing this book. Daughters everywhere are going to love you. Moms everywhere are going to love you. And men who have women in their lives who they truly love are going to love you.
Thank you.
I have a copy of the book. It's called Wonder Women. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to me. I'll pretend it's actually from me. No, it's not from me. It's from Sam Maggs. And go online and get the book. What's a good website to recommend? I know you got to go.
You can go online to quirkbooks.com to find more information about the book, but it's available at all brick and mortar bookstores and online bookstores. Anywhere you normally buy books, you can find it.
Okay, and to a publicist, if you're listening, I apologize. I went over the time. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Want to go exploring with all the comforts of home? Discover the best of both worlds at the Ocala RV Show, March 2nd through 5th at Florida Horse Park. Thursday through Sunday, discover loads of RVs, great rates. Win 2 $100 gift cards every day, no purchase necessary. Adults $5, kids under 16 free. Thursday, buy one admission, get one free. Sunday, free admission with blood donation to Life South Community Blood Center. $2 off for military and first responders each day. It's the Ocala RV Show.
Have you seen the great deals this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens? If not, go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net and check them out. A special this week on huge selection of ground cover in the 5-inch size. It's regularly $3.99, but Bob's selling more than half a dozen varieties for just $2.99. Just in, some of the biggest and best Boston fern hanging baskets you've ever seen. They're regularly $14.99, but while they last, just $7.99. Truckload tree sale, including this special deal. Big number 4 size live oaks, regularly $59.99. This week they go out the door at half price, just $29.99. The Camellia Show Spectacular is at its best, so bring the family for the best show of the spring, and it's all free. Come on over this week for sure to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 2. Locally grown, family owned, same place since 1952.
Here is a 30-second news brief from the source. WOCA. An Orange County deputy is in stable condition after being shot multiple times. The suspect was shot dead. Florida's lawmakers are moving ahead with a plan to create Medicaid vouchers. And police in Cocoa Beach responded to a call of pit bulls breaking into a porch and killing a cat. The dogs will be quarantined for 10 days. And SeaWorld Orlando is reporting a decline in attendance in 2016 and says Hurricane Matthew is to blame. And that is your 30-second news brief from the source.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
A celebration for lovers of a popular snack and sandwich spread. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
The way crop prices fluctuate, you're actually thinking about trying to save some money by not using a product like Black Max 22 this year. Here's the problem. Because prices are volatile, improving yield becomes your most important strategy. And Black Max 22's proprietary LHC technology is designed to optimize your soil, reduce fertilizer burn, and improve yield potential year after year. Don't let saving money cost you money. When it comes to your nutrition program, remember Black Max 22, because if you feed it, you need it. See your local CPS retailer today.
Okay, kids, let's sing Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had wetlands, native plants, wildlife habitat, windbreaks, contours.
Conservation is growing some wonderful things on America's farms and ranches. But it has put a new wrinkle in an old song. Conservation, there's something in it for you. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Conservation Service.
Every year on March 1st, America celebrates National Peanut Butter Lovers Day, not to be confused with National Peanut Butter Day, which is celebrated in January. There are so many ways of celebrating Peanut Butter Lovers Day. The obvious choice, eating it, of course, or by trying new recipes, or spreading the word about its health benefits. But some peanut butter lovers will take it a step further and make sure local food pantries and shelters are stocked with plenty of jars of the protein-packed snack. Peanut butter has come a long way since it was first sold in the early 1900s. Not just a great pairing with jelly on a couple of slices slices of bread, peanut butter could be combined with all types of different ingredients to satisfy every palate, including peanut butter with bacon, peanut butter ice cream, and peanut sauce for shrimp or stew. And Americans love their peanut butter so much to the tune of over $800 million a year. However you prefer to love your peanut butter today, be sure and use the hashtag Peanut Butter Lovers Day to post on social media. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
Tired of looking at stained carpets, dirty tile, or grout? Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Make your flooring look great again. Stains, pet odors, allergies. Call Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. From serving our country to serving our community. Silverback Restoration, 414-5312. Residential and commercial. Their work is guaranteed along with your satisfaction. Check their website, silverbackrestoration.com.
The weather is brought to you by MyFWC.